Hi, this is Lisa.
And this is Joe.
And welcome to your Cheap Date Show for March 17, 2007.
On this week's show, we talk about how Lisa is turning the wedding industry on its ear.
Where to get a tasty lunch.
That would be a brunch, I think.
I'm sorry, a tasty brunch.
And a tale of international intrigue.
Welcome back. This is the
Wow.
Cheap Date Show.
That was pretty good.
We probably already said that.
Already in progress.
In case you were
We now join the Cheap Date Show.
You know,
already in progress.
I've found that I fast forward through the first 5 to 8 minutes of most podcasts and the last 5 to 8 minutes.
Really? Why?
With the exception of Savage Love, because Dan Savage does not screw around. He says, "This is Savage Love. Let's get to the questions."
I know.
And every other podcaster, "Welcome to the podcast. You
Well,
probably got this from iTunes, blah, blah."
We gotta
well,
be
no,
nice.
it's fine. If you're new to listening, if you get a new listener, a lot of times it's good to have that information up front.
Right.
But if I listen to a podcast over and over and over,
you already know. Oh, so what you're saying is you already know the introductory part.
Yes. I know who they are. I know how I downloaded them. I know where to, and then they do the same thing at the end. You can download us from here, vote for us here, yada, yada, yada.
Are you saying you want a whole new paradigm? Do you want to create a whole new...
The last thing I need...
World. I'm going to sing that at our wedding to you.
Very
How would that
funny.
be?
Speaking of, the last thing I need to do right now is create any paradigms. I have plenty going on in my life.
You are creating but you're creating a paradigm that's quite...
That has nothing to do with podcasting.
That's a good point.
That's the only thing about it.
That's a good point.
So yes, that's well put. I'm busy creating paradigms in other areas of my life. We have turned the whole wedding industry on its ear.
Oh yeah, there's going to be the people are angry with us. There are people standing at the door. There are wedding planners with their big books, and there are photographers with big satin things pounding on our door.
Oh my gosh, I saw this wedding album today that was just like everything our wedding is not.
Yeah.
It was like bound in satin and then wrapped in organza with a rhinestone buckle in the middle. It was very pretty, but I thought it was pretty for 1 minute, and then I thought, oh, that would be like the most fancy thing at our wedding.
Yeah. As it is right now, Lisa pointed out that we're going to have more people working our wedding than actually in attendance at our wedding.
This is the amazing thing about our...
She's doing the two-handed karate chop now, folks, just so you know.
This is the amazing thing about our wedding, and you just tell me when I start giving away too much.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the number of people and considering that we were trying to keep it simple, it has not been cheap nor uncomplicated.
Well, go ahead. I have a comment. I'm going to withhold my comment, and then I'll hang up and wait for my answer.
You'll take your answer off the air.
Mm-hmm.
We still have 2 photographers. How many photographers would you have if you had 300 people? 2?
I don't know.
Maybe 3. But really, 2... I mean, all the things that you have to do for 200 people, you also have to do for 20 people. You can attempt to do them on a smaller level, but some things you can only scale back so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can have a very small wedding cake, but nonetheless, you have a baker to deal with. And I think if I've learned anything from this, and it's been really a fun process, and I like it that you're the only other person involved in it directly, as far as you're the only person I have to clear decisions with. If I've learned anything about this, it's how to manage a project without doing everything by yourself. Because a lot of times when I manage projects, my idea of managing a project is, shut up, I'll do it.
That's right, and that's not management.
That's not management.
Right.
But with this, the management has been finding people who know what they're doing so that we don't have to know what they're doing.
Wow.
We tell them what to do.
See, you're good. You are already 3/4 of the way to your PMP designation, your PMP certification. I'm the only one sitting here with that certification, and you know what? You're already 3/4 of the way there.
Do you have a PMP certification? No, but I just planned a wedding. Never mind. You're
Actually, you know what?
in.
A lot of the things they teach you in the training for that, it would apply during this.
About the communication?
It's all about keeping the communication lines open. Those of you who have taken the PMP exam know exactly what I'm talking about.
How many of our listeners do you think have taken the PMP?
You know what? I'm surprised. There are surprisingly a large number of people who have taken it. I've run across a lot of people who have taken it.
Maybe I should take it.
PMP represent. We'll all wear our little pins. That's the Project Management Professional Certification from the Project Management Institute.
So do I have to call you Dr. whatever your last name is?
No, you call me just. I can put PMP on my business card if I want. I have the approval and the logo if I want. I chose not to.
Didn't you on your old business card?
My previous employer had it on my my business card. Yes.
List the letters, baby.
I know. I know some people have a lot of engineering degrees and they stick it on there, and it's like the degrees are longer than their actual name.
I was just going to say, I know a guy whose letters are literally longer than his name.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, not all those letters are that important.
Yeah.
If you have a PhD, listing more stuff after that can be a little silly. And in this particular person's case, well, some of the things I think he lists on there are not necessary.
Does he have like a Dungeons and Dragons certification or a
D&D? He does not have a PMP. They're all architectural and one's like an urban planning thing. He doesn't urban plan.
He doesn't plan urbans?
Yeah.
Urbanities? Or whatever you would call that.
Urbanities.
That's my new word, Urbanities. Yes, we're going to be visiting several restaurants around the greater urbanity of Chicago.
I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to get the PhD. You can call me Dr. whatever my last name is.
Dr. Lisa.
And there need not be any letters.
And when you have your radio show.
Yes, Dr. Lisa.
Dr. Lisa. Maybe you and Dan Savage could do a joint podcast.
You know, I think I'm going to call his podcast and ask seriously. I don't know if he'll answer me seriously. Seriously, how do I become a sex columnist?
Advice columnist?
Although he became a columnist, he has no credentials. He's just a pundit.
But he's the editor of The Stranger.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's great.
You know, it doesn't take much.
But he doesn't have any particular training in that.
There used to be a lady who did a sex advice show here in Chicago back in the 80s who she was, I think by training, she was a psychologist, but she did this show on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock. And what happened was she finally got yanked off the air after about 2 years because she would say stuff and she would give things like medical advice, and then she'd have doctors calling in saying, please tell your people not to do that. And finally, I think she just got yanked off the air because there were so many times where she was saying, oh, yeah, go ahead. That's fine. And people would call up, no, don't.
Well, if it were...
And some of it was really common sense stuff. It's like I'd listen to it and I'd be like, no.
If you were going to do a live show, you would probably want to have like an MD and a psychologist on there together.
Oh, you mean like Love Lines? Like Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew? Hey, how you doing?
I do mean like Dr.
I'm
Drew.
15 years old and I'm sleeping with my best friend's mom. Yeah, good times. Okay.
She gives me speed and then we do it.
Exactly.
And Dr. Drew's like, yeah, I'm sure she does.
Anyway, okay.
More about my sex career later.
Okay. Stay tuned. Maybe not in this show, but we should wind this segment up by telling people that they should that they should not fast forward. We hope they don't fast forward past the last 4 minutes, because then they miss all the fun stuff. Because we usually
put fun stuff at the end.
We do, and it's always poignant, and it always has something to do with something.
That's right. We don't just pull this stuff out of
thin air. That's right. Let's talk about a tale.
Let's bang on the table some more.
That's right. Let's talk about a tale of international intrigue. Let's talk a tale about nuclear waste. Let's tell a tale about a place where you can get a pancake.
This could definitely kill your children. What you don't know.
For those of you who do not watch The Daily Show, go to YouTube and look for the video about the daylight savings time piece that they did. With Dan Beckedall did a thing on The Daily Show saying that What you don't know about the daylight savings time change will definitely kill your children. It's pretty good. Good piece. But we do have a tale of international intrigue and nuclear waste and a place to get pretty good pancakes. And oddly enough, it's all in the same story.
Wow, Joe.
Let me tell you a story. Sit back, enjoy.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you a little story right now about the state of Illinois HAZMAT section. State of Illinois State Police HAZMAT division. I don't know if they still do this, but around 20 some odd years ago.
Low.
Can I be literary?
Sorry, go ahead. I'll hush up.
That's a valid word in Scrabble.
I know it's a word.
Oh, she's going hands free. Oh no, she's being like.
I need to lean back.
Lisa's going handheld now. Can you tell? The state of Illinois Police HAZMAT division had what they used to do is they used to sit. Maybe they still do. I don't know, but they used to sit on I-294, which is one of the main expressways that goes around O'Hare Airport, and they used to just sit there with a detector to detect radioactive stuff, hazards.
What?
I don't know why.
Did a lot of radioactive? Was it like they were clocking people?
I think they were worried about stuff coming in.
Coming in from where? Canada? Wisconsin?
Pulling you over for doing 200 Röntgens.
Indiana?
No, I think they were worried about stuff shipping in through O'Hare because there's lots of shipping. There's lots of railroad yards around there as well.
Oh.
So,
but nothing radioactive ever came through Illinois, did it?
Well, not really until one day back in February of 1984. And the headline.
Did they have Geiger counters?
All right.
Sorry. I'll just let you tell your story.
Jeez. When the front page of the Daily Herald, the local paper, had a headline that said, "Cops intercept radioactive steel bound for Des Plaines." Dum, dum, dum. Des Plaines being one of the suburbs right near O'Hare. What happened was an officer was sitting by the side of the road with this little radioactive detector, and a truck drove by hauling 8 boxes of table legs, which were to be delivered to a restaurant in Des Plaines, set off their little counter thing. And he pulled over the truck and realized that there were these table legs in the truck that were radioactive. It was, what was it? It had a radiation level of 2.2 millirems, and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's maximum permissible yearly dosage is 500 millirems. So the officer who did this said,
which, if I'm not mistaken, is like 2 chest X-rays or something.
He said it's a high reading. No one's going to die from it, though. So anyway, evidently what happened was these were table legs for restaurant tables that were destined to be delivered to the Omega restaurant in Des Plaines, Illinois.
Really? Well, what did the Omega restaurant have to say?
Well, they interviewed the owner. Now, keep in mind, again, let me put a disclaimer here. Everything is fine at the Omega restaurant, as we'll tell you in a few moments. But it was a great story because this restaurant it took about 2 years for this restaurant to be built, and they finally were getting ready to open, and then this happened. So the driver of the truck was tested and was determined not to have been exposed to radiation. But they interviewed the guy who owned it, who said, "I don't know anything about table legs. My job is to sell food. That's all. I don't know what the hell is going on." The manufacturer should have known before they shipped them.
True.
So this poor guy is just, and the thing is, he didn't speak English real well. And I think they didn't treat him as kindly in this article as they should have. They just kind of...
Well, they kind of made him sound like he's clueless.
Yeah, exactly.
Which he is, and rightly so.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
who knows where their table legs
But he didn't
come
want to open a restaurant that had radioactive table legs. So,
yes.
So here's where the tale of international intrigue comes in. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
The table parts were manufactured at a foundry in Juarez, Mexico. The steel was contaminated with cobalt-60, according to Mexican authorities, who had blocked further export of the table parts. Well, the Mexican authorities got right on top of it. The inspectors from the Mexican Nuclear Safety Commission traced the radiation to a cancer treatment machine, which was stolen from a hospital the previous November, sold to a junkyard. Then scrap metal from the junkyard was sent to the foundry in Chihuahua City, and then it was used to make steel bars, which were then turned over to the factory in Juarez, where the steel was finished. Then it was sent up to that's where it was that's where the table legs were manufactured, which was then shipped to the company's offices in, I think they were in Missouri, and then they were sent up here. So it all started because somebody stole a cancer treatment machine and sold it for scrap metal.
Why would you steal a cancer treatment machine? If you were going to steal something for cash, wouldn't you steal like something easier?
Even a Toyota would be easier than a cancer treatment machine, I would imagine.
Yeah, come on. Steal a car, steal some drugs. Well,
not that we here on the Cheap Date Show endorse that.
The state trooper said, "I'm not going to lose any hair or anything, but I wouldn't put a table leg in bed and sleep with it every night." And
Words to live by.
What this really proves is when you sleep with a table leg, you're sleeping with every piece of metal that table leg has ever slept with. All right? You're sleeping with every table leg in Mexico now.
Oh, my God. I'm never setting foot in another restaurant ever again.
Not in shorts, anyway.
Of course, what does that mean if you buy a table at IKEA? I don't even know.
We're literally speechless.
So
all this said,
do you have a word of advice?
We went right
over
over to Omega and had breakfast.
We did. We had brunch. It was wonderful.
Really, I wish they had like an atomic burger or something.
You see, that's what I was saying. I remember back when this happened, and the restaurant opened, and people were like, "Ooh, I don't know." Everyone's looking under the chair
to see if it's glowing.
With their little Mr. Geiger counter, the Popeil Mr. Geiger counter.
Is that table leg irradiated, or are you just happy to see me?
Hey, you want me to warm that bagel up for you? Never mind. I got it. Stick it under the table. No. As far as we know, the Omega restaurant has been in business for nigh on 20-some-odd years.
Presumably they got some different legs.
They did. I don't think the tables that are there
And
are
then
the
didn't you
tables
say
that are
they inspected the whole thing for radiation?
They did.
Just in case.
A few weeks later, they went through, inspected the whole place, and it was clean. So don't worry about it. So all that said, let's talk about Omega.
I don't remember what I had.
Omega is Omega is it's a very big restaurant, and we went there on Sunday afternoon, and I was actually surprised because
right around 11, actually.
Yeah, and typically that place is crowded. It's been a few years since I've been there, but it's one of your standard Greek-owned family diner-style restaurants. There are thousands of them in the greater Chicagoland area, and this is one of the larger ones. It's actually located on Gulf Road, just west of Milwaukee Avenue.
The good thing about that is we did get seated fairly fast. The service was fairly... actually, the whole process took a bit longer than I expected. We were there for about an hour, which was probably longer than necessary, weren't we?
Yeah, but there were a lot of people there.
But there were a lot of people there. But the service was good. I had... it was technically breakfast time, but I had lunch. I had the Big Dipper, which was like a French dip with cheese. Mm-hmm. And it was good. It was, I just had that. I don't know. I don't think I even got fries.
No, you didn't.
So I can't say much about the food. Your matzo ball soup was amazing.
I had some very good matzo ball soup. It was the sort of matzo ball soup you get in a lot of restaurants around here, which is just a straight chicken broth with a ball in it. And that's it.
Yeah.
And it was very good. Some restaurants go a little fancier. They chop up some chicken meat. They do some carrots, celery, a turnip. I don't know. Some stuff chopped up.
Really, the point is to soak up the broth with the ball.
Mm-hmm. And it was absolutely delicious. I had a croque monsieur, or Monte Cristo, which is a ham and cheese sandwich on French toast. which was a perfect brunch thing for me for a Sunday morning.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to eat the whole thing, but it was really a neat.
It was really good. And
flavors.
the way that they did it, a lot of times when I've had Monte Cristo sandwiches or the occasional times I've made them, I don't put anything sweet in the French toast, but there was definitely something sweet in the mixture for the French toast. So it added a little sweety tinge to it.
There was a little vanilla in there.
Yeah.
It went really well with the sharp kind of Swiss.
Yeah.
And the sweeter ham.
Mm-hmm. It was grilled. It was a little bit soggier than I would have liked. I would have liked to have been able to. I know you're not supposed to be able to pick one of these up. I would have liked to have been able to pick it up. It was kind of mushy, but it was good. And then the fries that I had, typically when I go to restaurants like this, I usually order my fries well done. And
I've never heard of that, but now
that's
I know
the way
what
to
you
do
mean.
it. They appear to at Omega. They appear to dip these in some sort of batter, similar to what they do at French French. What am I thinking? Similar to what they do at Burger King. Because Burger King is a French company. Or maybe you didn't know that. I don't know. No, they batter fried them the way that Burger King does. And it was delicious. So that was very good. And then was that all we had? I don't think we had anything else.
Yeah,
they give you a little basket of bread and rolls. Had a bialy, which is delicious. You had some sort of muffin. Was it a cranberry muffin?
It was a corn muffin.
Was it good?
Hit the spot.
Right. The one thing about Omega that I will say, which is the only negative about it, is that when you walk in, they have an absolutely gorgeous bakery case. They have cream puffs and cake slices and all kinds of stuff. Over the years, I've had little pieces of pastry from there, and I can honestly say that the pastry looks better than it tastes. The cream in the cream puffs tends to not be as... What's the word I'm looking for?
Creamy?
I think they use a lot of margarine. I think they use a lot of margarine. I think they use a lot of oil. Like when you go to a bakery, like when we go to some of our favorite bakeries around here, you get a cream puff. Man, you know that's like real serious heavy whipped cream in those cream puffs, because if you take them outside in the summertime, they just fall apart right in front of your face. But anyway, all that said, it was a very good little brunch that we had. So
it was.
We would recommend the Omega restaurant. They have a couple of locations as well. They have one. The one we went to is at 9100 West Gulf Road, which is the first one that they opened here in the area. They also have one at 1300 Ogden Avenue in Downers Grove, Illinois, which is not very far from the Fry's if you're heading down towards the Chicagoland Fry's, if you're looking for a resistor or a microwave oven or a power supply for your case.
Or DDR.
And it says here that they have one on Wise Road in Schaumburg, which I didn't know. So 1823 West Wise Road in Schaumburg, Illinois. So check it out. Anything else we need to say about Omega? Thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Okay. So,
we gave it a glowing review.
That completely negates my asparagus spears joke from the last show. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, yes. We need to thank Karen. Sent us a comment saying that Lisa needs to call off the wedding based on my asparagus spears joke from last episode.
To refresh your memory, I said something about asparagus spears, and he said something about Britney Spears. Lame.
Well, it's lame now because there's no context anymore.
Shut up. There was no context ever for that.
All right. We'd also like to thank some other comments that we got. We got a lovely comment from Paul. Paul, who's very upset that he doesn't get to leave comments anymore on the blog.
I'm upset too.
I know. We'll take a look at this again. I promise we'll look at this again.
Well, no, I just want to make the point that it hurts us as much as it hurts you.
Aww.
I miss leaving comments. I miss your comments.
If you could see the sincere look on my fiance's face right now. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
There's a reason this isn't a video podcast.
Yeah, I think so. And, Bridget wrote to us to say congratulations on having sex. So that was good.
Oh,
on our last episode.
our first time.
I know. It was pretty good. We have some more in the closet over here.
Maybe after the podcast.
Okay. That joke has officially run its course. And also, John G. sent a note, too.
I'll have to check that out.
You will. You'll have to do that. And we got some other comments here. But thank you, everyone, for writing in. This coming Saturday, actually, it's today, is St. Patrick's Day.
Ooh, ooh.
So, whatever you do, be safe. And
Yeah, be safe.
yeah.
Not too safe.
Well, it's St. Patrick's Day.
Not like not drinking
Don't
safe.
I mean, let's not get ridiculous. And it's interesting because it is, since it's on a Saturday this year, they're expecting some nutty things here in Chicago. Because Chicago has a large Irish population, particularly on the south side, but a lot of the restaurants in the city are having lots of big things. There's a pub right in the downtown area, just north of the Loop, called Fido, which I've been to before, which is actually pretty nice. They're opening at 6:30 a.m. and they expect a line outside the door all day.
Maybe we should go down to Kitty O'Shea's.
Yeah, Kitty O'Shea's in the Chicago Hilton Towers, and also Peggy Canane's here in Arlington Heights. They're having their and you know what, the 15th is their anniversary. We missed that party.
Well, they need to stop with their weekday parties.
I know. So they're having a huge thing, and I remember every year. Last year when we tried to go there, it was completely packed solid.
So where are we going for St. Patrick's Day?
You know where we're going? It's Emma's birthday this next week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go bowling and to Gino's East Pizza. And that's going to be a fun time.
But I meant after that.
Oh, I don't know. We're going to be hanging out with the illustrious Liz and Bob.
The illustrious.
Well, now they're illustrious.
They'll have somewhere good to go.
They will. So we'll be doing that. And so if you go out to, I'm not going to sound like your dad here, but if you're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, be safe. We want you as listeners. We want you to stick around.
Okay, Dad.
Okay. Well, if you get drunk, you stay at home, Stay at home, get drunk, listen to the podcast. Play it backwards.
So much funnier.
Actually, if you play this episode backwards.
While drunk.
And
while watching Grey's Anatomy.
It'll sync up.
It all matches up.
Yeah, just like Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon. I'm not making fun of you. I am not making fun of you. I wouldn't dare.
All right. I think we've said enough.
Okay. Lisa's excited because Joey McIntyre is coming to town.
Don't get started on that. I'm sure he's not doing any New Kids material.
You mean NKOTB?
Yeah. They were New Kids when I was a fan.
Oh. I just remember seeing all their stuff in the store.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Did Claire sell a lot of their stuff? Much in the way that they sell High School Musical stuff now?
I didn't live in an area that had a Claire's then.
Oh.
I got all my NKOTB gear at Kmart.
That's right. You grew up in Iceland. No. What? At Kmart? Oh, okay.
And we had a Camelot Music.
Oh, okay.
You could get T-shirts and posters there.
Gotcha.
And tapes.
Ooh, tapes. Wonderful.
No, but when I was Claire's age, they had a lot of Wayne's World gear.
Really? Gosh. Oh, well. Well, thanks for sharing.
Very cool. Okay.
Thanks for listening, everybody. If you would like to drop us a line, they can send us a note to
dish@cheapdateshow.com.
Or you can call our voicemail line at 206-203-3283, which spells
date.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks.
Good night.
This podcast is proudly listed at podcastpickle.com.
Now, before I can reach a decision regarding compensation, I'm afraid I must have the exact details of your job. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, you say that you were employed to drive radioactive waste 100 miles each day for 5 days a week.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Now, what precautions did your employer take to shield you from radioactivity?
I don't know.
Well, did you wear a protective suit? Or...
Oh, yeah. Like a white thing, like, you know, with like lead. Like in it, all lead.
I see. And where was the radioactive waste?
Oh, it was in the back of the lorry, like in a big lead box, like all lead.
And what about your cabin? Was there any...
Oh, like, yeah, that was completely lined in lead. All lead. All like lead.
I see. So you wore a lead-lined suit, you sat in a lead-enclosed cabin, and the radioactive waste was in a lead box.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I don't really see how you can claim for radioactive poisoning.
I'm not. I'm claiming for lead poisoning.